Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening is Adam.
Hello.
And, of course, as it is a Friday, once again, I am the keeper for the evening, Sanguine. So, how are you doing tonight, Adam? And he mutes immediately after I ask how he's doing today. I think he's currently finishing off something. So, I'll get in.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot I had the video running. So I hit the echo.
You had to quickly mute, then silence, then come back and unmute.
I was hoping. Oh well, hopefully it doesn't get caught on the mic. But in terms of how I've been doing or how I'm doing, I'm doing all right. It's Friday night.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. How have you been doing, sir?
I've been pretty good. I did some of the normal chores that I have to on the last day off that I have. So I went over my knives, made sure that they were all clean, and I didn't get a chance to wet them this week. So hopefully next week I'll have enough time to wet them. And otherwise, doing rather well. I have salmon that I've pulled out and salted to let the salt be pulled into the meat, and also to give just a slightly drier skin, so that slightly drier flesh, so that when it goes into my hot skillet, I'll get this real nice sear really fast. So I'll be able to keep it as rare on the inside as I can while still getting some nice color.
Very nice.
And then I have a baked potato that is currently whacked into the oven, and my oven's, I think, up to temp now. It should be either that, or in a couple moments you'll hear a short series of beeps. It is up to temperature, so we won't hear the oven beeps. But that would have been the oven coming up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, letting me know that it's done. And my russet will just slowly bake, and throughout the show, it'll start to have those starches break a little bit, start to caramelize. So I'll get that nice kind of very slightly yellowed flesh from a russet that's been baked for a good while. That's just
I got a
amazing.
Here's a side question. Is it? I guess it's gonna sound like a like a stupid question, but would you be able to do that potato but add seasoning to it?
So you mean add it to the flesh, or add it just dressed in general?
Like, I was thinking, like, if you poked it with like a fork and then just add the seasoning to it, and then I guess just to let it cook with it. I guess I don't know.
So when it comes to baked potatoes, you can salt and pepper the outside a bit, and that'll help crisp the skin. So typically you'll throw a baked potato, or rather a potato that you're going to be baking, into a bit of oil, then put some salt over top, put some pepper over top, then you'll bake it. And that'll allow the skin to get really crispy, also flavor it up a bit more, especially if you eat the skin as well. But if you're trying to flavor the inside, then you have two options. You can do a standard baked potato that then you season once you cut it open, which is the standard way. Or you can do a twice baked, which you bake it once, then you split it open, you pull out the innards, you kind of make a mash that you season up nicely. Then you put that back into the shell, sometimes called the coffin at this point, and you throw it in the oven to bake again. And those are delicious as well.
Good God. Okay, so where would you find one of those? Would that be at like a upper class type of restaurant?
You can get twice baked potatoes at a lot of places. a good number of steakhouses will have a twice
Can you
baked,
find it at a Denny's?
potentially.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure Denny's menu, but it is something that can be found fairly easily. Twice baked potatoes are delicious and can be very simply done or very elaborately done.
It sounds
So
delicious.
if it's a place that sells baked potatoes and mashed potatoes, they probably also have an option for twice baked.
You know what? Even if they don't have the option, I wouldn't be surprised if the cook at the helm of the stove or the fucking grill.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be like, "Yeah, I could do that." Yes, no
Yeah,
problem.
it's something that's really easy to do because all it is you bake the potato. Then, like I said, you cut off a lid and you scoop out the innards of the potato, quickly mash it up with your seasonings, normally some cheese and some glorious things like that, and then you just spoon or pipe it back into the shell of the potato and
I
throw it
mean,
back into the oven to bake a little bit longer.
of course, no onions, right?
If you want onions, you can get onions,
Whoa!
but they aren't a default. You have to have onions. A lot of people do throw chives in.
What? Come on, chives are ninja onions. Get out of here.
Ninja onions.
It's the same thing. They just, they're trying to disguise themselves. Get out of here.
Ninja onions.
um, damn. Okay, so would that be a dinner type of menu, or would that be the type of breakfast type of menu?
You typically have that on the dinner menu, though I have seen breakfast twice baked before.
Well,
And if you're doing a
Joe Biden
breakfast twice bake, you just kind of
tacos or breakfast, but yeah,
change the flavor.
yeah.
And yes,
um,
the Jill Biden, the wonderful diversity of the Hispanic community, just like breakfast tacos.
breakfast tacos.
Brilliant.
Well, breakfast double scoop potatoes,
Yep, twice baked.
twice baked potatoes.
But that
Damn.
does bring up something that we were talking about a bit before the stream, and then I realized I was getting into full flow and should save it for the stream.
Well, I'm trying to fluff it,
Yep,
like a
there's.
filler. But yes, what were we talking about before the stream?
We were talking about how shit everything is, and
Oh well.
one of the things that I've been looking at as though it's a silver lining coming down the way because it is amazing and hilarious. Everyone, of course, knows that Ketanji Brown Jackson was nominated to the Supreme Court. What not as many people know, but should know because it is fucking hilarious, is the affirmative action college case that's going before the Supreme Court. So you have the Supreme Court justice, that was the affirmative action Supreme Court justice, having to sit on the Supreme Court case about affirmative action, which is predicted to say that affirmative action is racist as fuck, which it is. And that is just glorious, having an affirmative action
Talk
hire.
about timing, huh?
Yeah, having an affirmative action hire make it to the court just in time for affirmative action to be considered racist by the court.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Hey, and you thought the uproar with Roe v. Wade was some? Here we
Oh,
go.
yeah. And so, do you know anything about the affirmative action case heading before the Supreme Court?
Well, I know a little something, something, but perhaps the audience doesn't. So go ahead and.
So, the case going before the Supreme Court is dealing with Harvard and the University of North Carolina, which had policies on their administration that, or sorry, admissions, not administration, on their admissions, which was meant to racially rebalance the school. That's in the actual documentation for these policies. And the main way that they were racially rebalancing the school was they were heavily discriminating against Asian Americans and heavily discriminating for African Americans, which I hate both those terms because fuck the hyphenated American idea. It was going against people of Asian heritage that are American citizens. They aren't Asian Americans, they're Americans with Asian heritage. And they were doing so in favor of Americans that are black. Again, fuck the hyphenated American. I don't give a good goddamn why you think that it's valid, if any of you think that it's valid. The hyphenated American is one of the worst things to have ever been done to America in the English language. So, when it comes to this case, there's a large number of people that have put forward this, saying that they were discriminated against by the schools because of their Asian heritage. And paired to that, like I said, was that I'm not bigoted towards hyphenated Americans. I'm bigoted towards the idea of there being hyphenated Americans. Entirely different concept. I don't give a fuck where your family originated, what section of the earth it came from, what nationality you are descended from. The moment that you're an American citizen, you're an American. Doesn't fucking matter what else. You're an American. You can be an American with Irish heritage. You can be an American with English heritage. You can be an American with Asian heritage, with Chinese, Japanese, Korean. You can be an American with Senegalese, with Chad, with I don't give a fuck what country.
Well, wasn't that kind of
American citizen?
Wasn't that kind of the point? I mean, at least I know. Yeah, you. Oh well, actually, they didn't want this. Blah blah blah. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
The entire idea. If you're gonna sit there and you want to utilize the the melting pot type of stuff, it's like, okay, well, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Is that you're allowed to fucking be who you are, but at the same time, you gotta fucking fit in with the rest of us, and you gotta fucking toe the line at some point. You can't just fucking be your own thing and be like a settlement. Whoa, hey,
Yep.
yeah, you don't want to be a settlement. You want to be an American. You
Yeah.
know? Shit.
You or your ancestors, the ones that chose to come here to be Americans. Not to be a hyphenated American, but to be an American. This is one of the things that pisses me off the most. Here, I'm going to pull it up because it was beautifully put. And I've brought this up many times before. I'm going to bring up the Teddy Roosevelt line about the hyphenated American.
No, I saw the meme recently where he was like, yeah, keep your opinion to yourself, European.
Yep. So, this is one of the tragedies when it comes to American history, that somehow Teddy Roosevelt lost the argument when it comes to the hyphenated American. Because this was something that started to pop up a hell of a lot around one of his election cycles, when a bunch of people started calling themselves Italian American or Irish American or Asian, whatever the fuck hyphenated grouping they wanted. So this was his response when he saw this happening. I stand for straight Americanism, unconditioned and unqualified. I stand against every form of hyphenated Americanism. I do not speak of the hyphen when it is employed as a mere convenience, although personally I like to avoid its use even in such manner. I speak and condemn its use whenever it represents an effort to form a political party along racial lines or to bring pressure to bear on parties and politicians, not for American purposes, but in the interest of some group of voters of a certain national origin or of a country from which they or their fathers came. Americanism is not a matter of creed, birthplace, of national descent, but of the soul and of the spirit. If an American has the right stuff in him, I care not a snap of my fingers whether he is a Jew or Gentile, a Catholic or Protestant. I care not a snap of my fingers whether his ancestors came over on the Mayflower or whether he was born or his parents were born in Germany, Ireland, France, England, Scandinavia, Russia, or Italy, or any other country. All I ask of the immigrant is that he shall be physically and intellectually fit, of sound character, and eager in good faith to become an American citizen. If the immigrant is of the right kind, I am for him. If a Native American, this not being Native American is in the fucking group that we have identified now that, the Native Americans, and that's the only thing that you can refer to when you refer to a Native Americans. No, he's referring to a native-born son or daughter with the Native American in this usage. Let me start at the comma again. And if the Native American is of the wrong kind, I am against him. Now, for our own citizens, we represent many different race strains. Our ancestors came from many different old world nationalities. It will spell ruin to this nation if these nationalities remain separated from one another instead of being assimilated into the new and larger American life. The children and our children's children of all of us have to live here in this land together. Our children's children will intermarry one another, your children's children, friends, and mine. Even if they wished, they could not remain citizens of foreign countries. The effort to keep our citizenship divided against itself by the use of the hyphen and along the lines of national origin is certain to breed a spirit of bitterness and prejudice and dislike between great bodies of our citizens. Fucking press it. That's what we've seen time and again. The hyphenated American ends up doing. And that's why it pisses me off that the way to refer to these groups is the Asian Americans, the African. No, fuck. They're both Americans. One's of Asian descent, one's of African descent. Fucking doesn't matter. They're Americans.
You know, what's funny is I've found that sentiment around a lot of, I guess, people of color,
Yep.
so to speak, where they kind of, there's a lot of people who want to hold on to this, we're the hyphenated American. It's like, well, why? Why would you?
We're the Ecuadorian Americans. We're the Puerto Rican Americans. We're the Irish Americans. The Italian Americans.
Why would you want to do that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not in that. You're not even in that continent. Like, you're not in that hemisphere. Like, why would you?
Yep.
You're here, so why don't you just join? Like, is this? I guess that's where the whole people don't like the idea of forced assimilation type of thing, but it's like,
yeah,
but it's how it was, like if you're living in an area long enough, you just adapt to the culture and the whims of where you're living.
And the thing is that when you assimilate, life gets easier. 100% of the time, life gets easier. Because if you move to an area and you don't speak the fucking language, life is really goddamn hard. When you move to an area and you don't understand the cultural norms, life is really goddamn hard. Because you've just cut yourself off from your neighbors.
Yo, yeah.
What you do
Especially if you move to a different place, like that's just kind of
shit. Even if I was born in America, I was born in an area of Pennsylvania. I've lived in a bunch of different locations. Different sections of America have different cultures.
Oh yeah.
You have to assimilate. If you move from Pennsylvania to Virginia, there's assimilation that you have to go through. If you move from Virginia to California, there's assimilation. From California to Nolens, there's assimilation. From Nolens to Virginia again, you have to assimilate again. From Virginia to fucking Minnesota, you have to assimilate. Doesn't matter what state to what state, there is some degree of assimilation that has to be done when you move to a different area. Because if you don't, you completely cut yourself off from the community. You cut yourself off from your neighbors.
Well, hold on. Isn't the opposite of assimilation? Wouldn't that be like settlement or colonization or something like that?
Well, you have several different things that are functionally antonyms of assimilation, because you have segregation, which is keeping people from being able to become one group. That's the exact opposite of assimilation. So you have segregation as one of them. Then you have conquest, where rather than assimilating to the area that you've gone into, you just force that area to accommodate you.
Ooh.
Which, that's kind of fucked according to most people. And yeah. Conquest is very similar to colonization. The only difference is that colonization can be done peaceably, conquest can't. Or at least historically, we view conquest as more martial. Technically, a peaceful colonization is a peaceful conquest of an area. If you're able to change everyone around you to be of your sort, whatever sort that is, you've conquered the area. You've just done so gradually and with a velvet glove rather than an iron fist. It's just pisses me off every time, though, that I hear a hyphenated group of Americans, because no, stop that shit. Just become American. Being American doesn't mean that you can't enjoy aspects of your former culture. I mean, shit. I have Irish heritage. I enjoy Irish music. I enjoy Irish food. I have English heritage. I enjoy English music. I enjoy English food. I have German heritage. I enjoy German music. I enjoy German food. That doesn't make me less American, because I'm an American. You can keep cultural aspects without having to become a hyphenated American.
Well, hold on. I think that's the I think that's where the rhubarb hits. Is well, I don't know if that, but
I'm curious what you're doing with rhubarb and why are you smacking
people? That I think that hits exactly where it needs to hit. Is all of the unique thing about America is that we can have all of these different backgrounds, but then the unifying thing is that we're also American.
Yep.
So we can have, even if you want to go in um, European heritage or South American heritage or Asian heritage or uh, African heritage. It's, or I guess, Australian heritage. I'm not going to leave you guys out there down under, but
Even though they don't exist, it's a fake country.
we still love you. But it's 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 you can all come together, and then at the same end, it's, oh yeah, but then there's the American, and even one more level, I guess, it would be states, type of thing, or like area,
Yep.
like Midwest and Northeast and Southwest, and like like check it out, your boy Pat, he's from Texarkana, and I'm sure if he came along with you, and we had a cook off, it wouldn't be so much like against any sort of country or anything. It would just be like a difference of area, uh,
Yeah.
but within the same, culture, the same, but we're still American. It's not a like holy shit. But if you do that in Europe, I will say I'm pretty sure that they would have like a deeper uh, difference in their cultures, uh, only because they've been there for a little bit longer than America. Um, but
That
that's the
was. Oh,
we're
go
like
ahead.
gelatin. Holy shit! Yeah, America's like a gelatin for this shit.
Yeah, America is a whole bunch of different things getting mixed together in a fantastic way. We have ridiculous selection of foods because every time that someone came from a new area, they would go, "Well, here, try my food." We have different fucking cultural heritages when it comes to music, but they are all still, it doesn't change it doesn't make it not American. It just means that, yeah, this person likes mariachi music, this person likes Irish folk. They aren't different cultures just because they like different music. And this is something that was constantly stressed early on, and this is one of the reasons why it pisses me off that people are so against Thanksgiving. Do you know the actual origin of Thanksgiving, Adam?
Um, there was this very beautiful Native American princess, and she could talk to the colors of the wind. And
That is not Thanksgiving. That is
oh,
Pocahontas that you're currently trying to bring up, and
oh,
it's the Disney Pocahontas that you're trying to bring up.
oh, damn. Okay, well, what is Thanksgiving?
So there's the story of the first Thanksgiving. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the actual origin of Thanksgiving, the national holiday.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, there was the because I think what the national one was in like 1800s, and they were trying to do it to like a lot of. There's a few other holidays where they tried to do it to quell situation that's going on, but um,
There were two things that popped up, two major holidays that popped up around the same time. And they were Thanksgiving and President's Day. They both popped up after a very specific event, really important event in American history, to give you a hint.
uh-oh.
Can
Hold
you
on,
name what that really important event was?
Sanguine. This is
Yep.
reminding me of the Minions of the Zoo show from long ago, where we had to take tests at the end of the show, and then it's like,
Yep.
shit, damn it.
So they event that triggered the genesis of Thanksgiving was the Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was after the Civil War when the nation was still raw from the fresh wounds.
Hey, I did say 1800s, right?
Yep, you said 1800s. You got the right general time frame.
Damn
So,
it. Sorry, I'm eating a tortilla chip. It's dry.
it decided to try to go down your lung rather than your...
Pardon moi.
But yeah, the genesis of Thanksgiving, the national holiday, happened after the Civil War, and it was meant to be a way of reunifying the country, giving it a common celebration that was just about unity. So they looked back through history and they're able to find a couple different events which are all rumored to be the first Thanksgiving, but it was effectively made out of these bits of history and lore that then they cobbled together to make it a more general idea. You have Thanksgiving, the event where you have a bunch of people get together, they share food, which is going back to goddamn ancient, effectively, law throughout humanity. And it is something that is common in pretty much every culture around the earth. Hospitality culture. You break the bread, you share the water, you drink, you eat, you talk, you're together. And to add to that, they came up with the idea of, let's make this the holiday where we not only do we get together and we celebrate together, but this is going to be a distinctly American holiday, and it is going to be a holiday in which we tell what we're grateful for. So it's a means of getting past all the darkness of the war, all the bloodshed, all of the vitriol, all of the hatred. It was a way of unifying Americans, regardless of race, creed, or color, with this uniquely American celebration. This uniquely American celebration that was made after slavery was ended. That was made after these distinctions of, well, this type of person is worth this much and that type of person's worth that much. Fuck that, you're American. Celebrate this holiday, eat the food, drink. What are you happy about? That was Thanksgiving. Which is why it's infuriating every time that I hear, well, it's a bad thing because look at what happened to the Native Americans. Fuck you. This holiday is about getting together. This holiday is about talking about what you're grateful for. You could treat it as if the first Thanksgiving that's referred to is a complete fucking myth and it changes nothing about the holiday. Because it's still this holiday of union. It's still this holiday of getting together, eating together, and being thankful together.
All right, first off, dude, I can't believe I sat there and listened
And
to
choked
that.
on a chip while...
Well, hold on. You know, chip aside, all right? Had I the proper salsa, I probably would have been...
It would have been properly lubricated, slipped right down.
I think that was an assassination attempt. But no. Okay, so hold on. So we're gonna talk about, and let me explain why. We're gonna talk about Thanksgiving, and you're saying about how you're correct. It was, from like I said it was 1800 before I
Yep.
choked on the chip. Uh, it was, a means to unify the Union.
Mm-hmm.
Give the Americans something to solidify around. And don't get me wrong, I love Thanksgiving, and even if you want to go with the old school story of, because there is some truth to it,
Mm-hmm.
with the first settlers learning how to cultivate the land,
It
whatever.
happened several times. It wasn't just one event.
Yeah,
There's like 6 different first
it
Thanksgivings that all match up.
yeah, and but that's the point. It's a thing of, unity, like you
Mm-hmm.
said. But and that was the whole point. That was, I would say, when Lincoln uh, established, or not, like, I don't want to say established, but when that was brought up, I would say that was the fixing the button onto the stitching,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I but that being aside, um, damn it, sir. One of the things, personal things for me, in Thanksgiving is the food.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And it's we're not. Are we at that time? Because I've been seeing people talking about Halloween, and I think that's a little too sudden. But uh,
We're
how?
still a fair bit before proper Thanksgiving time, but like I said,
Okay,
it taps into something that is ancient to humanity
feasting.
in general.
Yeah, having a, well, I mean, especially in that time, right? It's the fall, so
Yep.
you're you have what you have, and gonna have a nice feast. But holy shit, dude! So what's your Thanksgiving your bits? Because I can honestly say, thinking about Thanksgiving, it's so much more about, like, oh, what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have it. You're gonna have your. I'm not so much of a stuffing guy, but I'll have turkey. I'll have. Um, this is the only time I'll have onions, because it's got to be with green bean casserole. And
Mm-hmm.
then, oh, I'm not really big on the said the cranberries.
Oh, the
Red.
cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I'm not really big on that, but I will say um, biscuits and gravy usually. I don't know if they have it other way here, but yeah, yeah. Oh man, we shouldn't be talking about Thanksgiving.
See,
Damn
for
it!
me, we're already in too deep. We have to talk about food now.
No.
For me, when it comes to Thanksgiving, my plate has to have turkey leg, mashed
Oh.
potatoes, fresh turkey gravy.
Hold on. Does your mashed potatoes? Do you have mashed potatoes where they have like a spices in it,
Typically, if it's not just standard mashed potatoes, it'll be like Colt Cannon or something like that.
or like garlic, or?
So it'll have cabbage and
Whoa.
green onion and sometimes a good cheddar cheese mixed in as well. Sometimes some cottage bacon tossed in. It's absolutely fantastic. Cole Cannon's delicious.
Wait. You have cheese mixed in with the mashed
Mashed
potatoes? Doesn't
potatoes?
it
Oh
get too
yeah.
thick?
Oh no, you can make it right and it's amazing.
Oh, how do
And
you
yeah,
how do
I've
you get it
done.
to?
Say again?
Well, how do you get it not? Because I would think if you put the cheese in with the mashed potatoes, it would just clump up. How do you get it to not clump up?
What you do is you just add a little bit more of your heavy cream.
Oh, wait, heavy cream?
Oh yeah. If you're making mashed potatoes with milk, that's the way most people make them. That's the wrong way, in my opinion. heavy cream is the only way to go when it comes to making mashed potatoes.
Would you use heavy cream if you're just making a small dose of mashed
Oh yeah,
potatoes? Really?
I use heavy cream every time I make mash. Heavy cream and a lot of butter.
Oh man. See, Sanguine, this is if we were hanging out, this would be a dangerous mixture because I'd be like, oh dude, let's make some mashed potatoes. All
Yep.
right, here we go. Oh no.
Yep. But yeah. Heavy cream
I couldn't get it.
is the best way to make mashed potatoes. So much more flavorful than milk. And if you're using skim milk, what are you, a monster?
Oh wait. Well, hold on. I was using the soy milk. How does that factor into? Oh, sorry.
I think you're a goddamn demon.
Oh, you know what? We gotta at least try it.
No, I refuse to put soy in my goddamn mashed potatoes. Fuck that. What do I look like? Some airy fairy little vegan fruit? No, fuck it. I'm doing heavy cream and lots of butter.
To be honest, it'd be a fun Halloween segment, like a Fear Factory type of thing. We made this food with soy milk.
If you do that, it's going to end up a slasher movie if I'm not notified.
Well, you're gonna be there because we need to cook. I'm not a cook.
Okay, so I wouldn't be the one getting surprised because that's what I was saying would turn into a slasher movie. It would be, here, Sanguine, try these mashed potatoes. Take a bite. You sons of bitches put soy milk into this. And immediately, slasher movie. Hide. Run. It's not going to save you.
Well, come on. If you made it, you gotta at least have a taste, right?
It's an abomination.
Oh man.
What you do is you use heavy cream for your mashed potato. If you're forced to use a milk, that milk better be fucking whole milk. But heavy cream is the way to go.
I'm lost on all of this, dude. It's like, yeah, this is way out of my ballpark.
But like I said, so it's turkey leg, mashed potatoes, real fresh turkey gravy, fresh baked bread, and then my drinks of choice.
Hold on, there's got to be some veggies. So
typically, I'll do like a Brussels sprout, mushroom, and onion with bacon saute.
Wait. Brussels, onion,
mushrooms and bacon. Yes.
I love you. But not asparagus, dude. Come on, asparagus is pretty good.
Oh, asparagus is also really good. So I'll have asparagus if there's asparagus to be had, and I'll do that with garlic, butter, and a fair bit of lemon juice. Really good. I'll do a kale saute the same way that I do Brussels sprouts. I just have some sort of leafy green, and normally it's done in a saute because everything tastes better with bacon.
Well, hold on. How would you incorporate spinach into such a dish like this?
Oh, into a saute like that? You'd throw it in at the very last moment so that the spinach is just slightly wilting, and then you'd hit it with some vinegar.
Vinegar?
Yeah.
What does the vinegar do to the spinach?
Effectively, what you'd end up doing is making a hot salad.
A hot salad? Oh, okay. Damn it. See, once again, we have a sanguine. Damn it. A sanguine stream where we have to take notes and have a test at the end.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Okay. So, damn it.
So the way that you do it
hold
is
on. Hold on. So, okay. I like spinach. Okay.
Yep.
I like dry spinach. I like baby spinach is pretty nice.
Mhm.
But I've never heard of spinach with what vinegar? Did you just said?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, what is
So the way that I make that sort of hot salad is I'll start by slicing up my mushrooms and onions. I'll get the mushrooms into a hot pan.
Oh
Well,
man,
the
wait,
pan.
so I gotta have mushrooms and onions.
Yep, I'll have mushrooms in it. You can leave out the onions because of your particular
Why
issue
is
with
it
onions, but
onions?
you do
Is Jenna hiring
mushrooms.
you?
You do mushrooms into a hot pan with a pinch of salt so that you pull some of the moisture out of the mushrooms. Get them nicely colored. Then, if you are using onions, those will, well, actually, those won't go in quite yet. Next in will be the bacon.
Whoa! All right, hold on. I like spinach, but when you add bacon,
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, add bacon. So you add your bacon to the pan. You let your bacon get your desired, just about to your desired level of doneness. So if you like it really crispy, get it to the point where it's just about at that point. If you like it kind of chew, kind of crisp, get it to where it's just about to get the little bit of crisp. Throw in your onion if you're using onion. Get that cooked down. Let the onion go just past translucent, just starting to get a bit golden on the edges. And then what you do is you add in a spoon of mustard. Not a lot of mustard, just a little bit of mustard. Then you mix it into the bacon fat in the bottom of the pan and with everything else. Then you throw in a
whoa! Real quick.
Yep.
Because I don't know if it was a dream or if it's the fucking real
You heard
life,
me say
but
mustard.
no. But no, yeah, mustard. No, but as I'm playing as yellow in Splatoon, but yellow powder or yellow the
Oh,
like the
actually prepared mustard.
yeah.
So
Is there's two different things, right?
so you have
Is that a real thing?
mustard that is powdered, and you can use that in a bunch of recipes. I'm talking about actual prepared mustard.
Like
So
the
it's
goop, right?
yeah, the
Sauce.
condiment.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I don't
get a good
okay.
mustard,
Sorry,
like a grape upon, a good stone ground pub mustard, something like that. Something that has a good flavor to it. Add a spoonful of that into the pan, mix that in with the oil and everything that's, or not the oil, the bacon fat and everything that's in the pan. Then you add a heaped mound of the spinach to the pan, mix it in, and the moment that you start mixing in the spinach, hit it with a healthy dose of vinegar and a little bit of hot sauce. What you've just made is a vinaigrette in the bottom of your pan. So your just wilted spinach, your mushroom, your onion, your bacon is all dressed in this warm vinaigrette. And you just move that out to your bowl that you're serving it in or the plate that you're serving it on, and good to go. It's delicious.
Damn, dude.
You guys have never had hot vinaigrettes before?
I mean, I haven't. I haven't thought to mix all that together like in that way.
It's amazing. And you can throw in garlic as well if you want. You throw in the garlic just after the onion has reached its proper color. You don't want to burn your garlic, so get it just to translucent, then add in the mustard and continue making the rest of the dish.
I think when I saw onion, I might have stopped at the recipe.
It's delicious. You just need to learn the right types of onions that you like. There's a way. I'm willing to bet you'd like jammy onions.
I did like this. Hold on. Oh shit. No. I did like this image of a little onion character, and it was if he gets cut, I'm ready to unleash cry level 1.
Well, that's only if your knife isn't sharp.
Wait, what?
The thing that makes you cry when you're chopping onion is caused by crushing the membrane rather than cutting. So you only cry if your knife isn't sharp.
Damn, so onions are like pepperfish?
Onions and garlic and a bunch of other things release different chemicals if they're cut or if they're crushed rather than cut. Yeah.
Oof.
So garlic becomes really sharp tasting if it's crushed rather than cut. And onion does the same. It's a lot sharper. It releases the chemical that makes you cry. So,
dude, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'd be sad at this point. I think I'd be satisfied with just like some hardtack and pork fat, and try and do some Civil War fucking stew. And I'd be like,
Civil War reenactment.
Yep, that's it. That's all I need. I can't. That's way out of my purview.
I actually know how to make hardtack.
Well, isn't it just like
you have to
flour,
bake it at the
salt?
right temperatures?
Oh,
That's the difficult thing. Because if you don't do it at the right temperatures, then it doesn't have the shelf life.
is that what? Is that how you put into your lammas bread that you made?
That is not what I put into the lambus bread, but
Oh,
it,
because I can live off of that too.
oh yeah, lambus bread's amazing.
But you put like a shit ton of fucking bacon
In a 1 pound loaf size bit of bread, I'll have over a pound of bacon and over a pound of smoked cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
It is
And
amazing.
It did last a long time, man.
Oh yeah. And it is delicious. Especially after a night of drinking, it sets people to rights.
Yeah, you pretty much just need a couple of bites.
Mm-hmm. Replenish everything that you depleted by drinking. But it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But, like I said, the whole thing about a lot of holidays is that ancient tradition of hospitality. It goes by different names in different areas. The European version's hospitality culture, but you have hospitality culture in all of Asia. You have hospitality culture in all of Europe. You have hospitality culture in native cultures when you look at them. You have hospitality. It's effectively the most ancient of laws.
Wait. Hospitality laws. What are we talking about?
Well, in European traditions, you have the hospitality laws of bread and water, for instance. So when
Yes.
you meet with someone and you're trying to show proper, not quite respect, but proper form, proper hospitality, you have to give them at least bread and water.
Well, they
Different
have.
cultures.
Come on, they have that in like Western style. You go into a town that people would give you some water.
Oh, like I said, it's something that you have that around the entire world. Every
Okay.
culture has some equivalent of hospitality laws.
And have it in
At least every
Rome.
culture that I've seen has some aspect of hospitality laws. The food that has to be given changes depending on the culture.
Well, at least decent people. You know, we can't say for the barbarians. You know,
Oh,
that's
even the
where.
barbarians.
No, well, I'm trying to go. Come on, man.
I know, but
It's
even the
funny.
barbarians.
No, they'd have their.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the oldest myths about Odin and I believe it was Odin. Was it Kevasir? No, it was Odin, Mimir, and I want to say it was Vidar was the third one in this group. But
Veto. Uh-oh.
Vidar, the god of vengeance and justice. So I know it was Odin. I know it was Vidar. I'm not sure. I think it was Mimir, but it might have been Kivasir or one of the others. But there's one of the oldest myths in Norse mythology is how the different cultural designations were established, and it's all about hospitality. It's three gods, the main one being Odin, end up going out and trying to just go out into the world among the humans. And they stop at one place and they immediately are offered food and drink, and it's of decent quality, but not the best quality that that household has. And as they leave, they determine that group's social status, and it just goes through, I think, 4 or 5 different social classes in the Norse tradition. So you have one family that's named the Thralls, and the reason why they're named the Thralls is because they show the least hospitality. So they are put at the lowest level of society. The group that shows the greatest hospitality are the ones that end up being named as the Jarls, the leaders. It's a really interesting myth, and like I said, it's entirely about hospitality culture and how important hospitality culture was. That was how their social status was determined, was hospitality.
Well, it certainly saved a lot.
Yep, and it's also a common thing that one of the gravest crimes anyone can commit in most cultures is a violation of hospitality, a betrayal of hospitality. A good example of that is from Scottish traditions. 2 of the things that are the most vilified events in Scottish history, both are about the violation of hospitality. One is one was the wiping out of one clan by another, when the clan that did the extermination showed up, was offered hospitality, accepted hospitality, and then in the middle of the night exterminated the clan that they had accepted hospitality from. And when you give hospitality, you aren't allowed to harm the people that you gave hospitality to. And when you accept hospitality, you aren't allowed to harm the group that gave you hospitality. This is an ancient tradition throughout, like I said, pretty much all of humanity. And this is something that you see in a lot of different cultures. The gravest crime is the violation of hospitality.
Yep.
And the other one, when you look at Scottish history, that is universally vilified, is the exact opposite, where it's people that gave hospitality then attacked the people that they gave hospitality to. So it's balanced that you have both an example of a violation of receiving hospitality as well as a violation of giving hospitality.
That like bite the hand that feeds or something like that.
Yep.
Good degree.
And that is both a reference to dogs as well as a reference to violation of hospitality.
Well, I don't know why, but Little Shop of Horrors was in my mind. Like I said, I don't know why. I don't think he ever bit Rick Moranis, but yeah.
Nice.
But yes, don't. It's one of those things where it's, if you want to succeed, you shouldn't want to try and subvert somebody else, because then they're just going to do it to you.
Yep. Yeah, and it's constantly a thing in a bunch of different cultures that if you violate hospitality, you're fucked. Because everyone hates you at that point. Your allies now hate you. Your enemies still hate you. Everyone that was in between now hates you. Everyone fucking despises you because you violated hospitality.
Yo, even with hospitality, you gotta think about it. It's your own family members are gonna look at it and be like, dude, but are they real? Or are they, are they not truthful with how they're acting?
Yep.
And you don't want that.
Yep. And
ugh.
you see this in a bunch of different cultures. Like there's very similar stories in Chinese history where people violated hospitality, and they're vilified to this day for the violation of hospitality. Which is why it's such an important thing for most holidays to have that feasting component, I think. It's just this hang-on of hospitality.
Yeah, well, now that you mention it, yeah, it's let's all get to the table and face one another.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have your duality, but are you strong enough to fucking face us at the table and keep up that charade or no?
Mm-hmm.
It's ugh. I don't like that though. Can't we get together at a table and give thanks alongside of eating some delicious pumpkin pie and some corn on the cob and just give thanks to one another.
I do love how we ended up talking about Thanksgiving and hospitality culture when the original story was the lawsuit, or rather the Supreme Court case going up before them before too much longer of whether or not affirmative action is allowed.
Oh shit.
Because I went off on that tirade about the hyphenated American due to it, and then we went off on holidays.
Well,
I just wanted.
What better way to unify the argument with? Oh man, okay.
Proper hospitality.
Is it? What is okay? So I've seen pies with like this white cream stuff on the outside of it. Is that marshmallow fluff, or is that like?
No, most of it is a. You're talking like a banana cream pie.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah, or like key lime pie.
Yep,
They
the
have that.
meringues.
Is it? What's a meringue?
Meringue is a stiffened egg white.
Oh,
It's sweetened, stiffened egg whites that are then often toasted.
no, they don't put that on like pumpkin pie, right?
That will typically be whipped cream.
Oh, okay.
So you either have meringues or you'll have whipped creams when you're talking about a white topping on a pie.
Um, I think this is gonna be the third time that I address this, but I am not a cook. I'm not, I'm not a baker. I have no idea on how to. I'm interested in cooking, and I have no objection to learning how to do it. But
Mhm.
as it stands, yeah, I am. Um,
Yeah,
I,
if you're talking about the one that is often like a toasted top to the pie,
yeah, because
which would
I
be
just always see like uh, I don't even know how to describe it, like white cream puffs or something like that.
the one that kind of gets toasted like marshmallows get toasted, right?
Yeah.
That's the meringue.
Okay. Meringue. Damn it. See, and hey, we're talking about Thanksgiving. Fucking pies, dude. And damn it, that goes into like, yeah, that's one of the best things about that time of year. What are you thinking about in terms of Thanksgiving time? Mm, turkey leg and oh, okay. Ah, damn it, making me hungry, dude.
It is fantastic. Just being able to talk about food and being able to talk about whatever the fuck we want. But it's like I said, it is hilarious that the affirmative action hire is going to have to observe as affirmative action is struck.
Well, okay, look, it's probably going to be hitting around the same type of way like Roe v. Wade, where they're gonna come with a decision and people are gonna take it the wrong way. They're not gonna, I guess, understand fully what the ultimate decision was going to be about. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that it doesn't cause so much confusion that people go out and act a certain type of way. You know?
The sad thing is, it most likely will, despite it
Yeah.
should have been obvious from the start of it that affirmative action and choosing not to accept people based on their racial background or to accept people based on their racial background is fucking racist. It should have never been a thing. There's some argument that I don't really buy into, but I occasionally hear people say that at some point it was important to have affirmative action because otherwise they would have just, or people would have been excluded. And I understand the thought behind it. I disagree with the logic because this is something that is almost a truism throughout all of time. If something wouldn't be done, you don't need a law against it.
Yeah.
If people wouldn't have hired black people, it wouldn't have been needed to make laws saying that you couldn't hire black people. Because it wouldn't happen. It's like how there's no law on the books saying that you can't have a hippo fly a jet. No one's trying to have a hippo fly a jet. That's the reason why there's no law on that. And it just drives me crazy when I actually start thinking about this stuff because I'm going, no, I get the sentiment. I get why you're saying that it's important, but you haven't thought through this.
No. And that's the point, is a lot of these people are just, it's a knee-jerk reaction. And that's not going to get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's something that feels right, but is actually wrong. And yeah, hippos can't fit in cockpits.
Yeah, no.
Which is also part of the reason why it's never even crossed someone's mind to have a hippo fly a jet plane. Among other reasons, one of the things
Hippos
is
can't fit
they won't
in
even be able to
cockpits.
fit in the cockpit. But you can see this because there's a bunch of really fucking weird laws on the books, and every single really fucking weird law, if you trace it back to when it was made, there's a reason why it was made. There's a law, I can't remember what fucking state it is, but it's a law that you are forbidden from fucking a porcupine. Because some insane son of a bitch looked at a porcupine and said, I want to fuck it. It ended poorly, so it was made illegal.
Well, the weird thing is, okay, coming from that, the weird thing. But the weird thing is, that just means that there might have been instances where
it was Florida. I just looked it up. It was Florida.
Hold on, where it worked, and somebody managed to fuck some random animal, and so no law had to be made about it. That's fucked up. Yeah, humans, what the fuck? Get yourselves together.
I just looked it up. It was Florida.
Of course it was Florida.
Florida's the state where it's illegal to fuck a porcupine. Technically, it's illegal in every state because it's illegal to fuck animals, but it is especially illegal to fuck porcupines in Florida.
Wow. What the hell's wrong with people?
Yeah, this is a fairly standard thing, that there will be some weird law where you're going, where the fuck did that come from? And then you look into it and you go, oh, came from that asshole. Like, there's another state where it's illegal to tie your giraffe to a lamppost.
To tie your giraffe?
Yes.
Like a giraffe?
Yep.
Like Toys R Us giraffe?
Like the actual animal? Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, let me see which one it is. It might be Georgia.
Only in America. That's crazy.
And I think it's Georgia. Yep, it's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's illegal to hitch a giraffe to a telephone pole or street lamp.
Dude, that means someone
hitched a giraffe
multiple
to telephone
times,
poles and street lamps. Yes, that's exactly what it means. To the point
where people were like, can we write a law?
Can we get this to stop?
Asshole would stop with this giraffe shit. And the guy with giraffe is like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Hey, just jealous that I have a giraffe.
Yeah.
And you don't.
Yep.
And the giraffe is just like, hey, dude, I enjoy hanging out at the second story. They're feeding me. It's good.
And the thing is that most states don't have that laws because most states haven't had the insane bastard walk around tying his giraffe to fucking telephone poles and streetlights.
And you know what? This is a perfect example. Perfect example that the federal government does not need to go ahead and put in the law that giraffes are not allowed To be tied up.
That would
Just
be an
know,
overreach. They can't tell me where I can fucking tie up my
Yeah.
giraffe.
you know what? If I'm in the middle of Texas and I'm hanging out with your boy Pat, and I just so happen to ride in on my giraffe, I need some place to put him,
Mm-hmm.
and we both are going to enjoy his delicious foods. I just picked that place randomly though, so
For a moment there, I was really worried what the pronoun antecedent was going to be there.
yeah, no, I was just trying to pick up like a place that you wouldn't expect a giraffe outside of Georgia. Because, like, Georgia.
Because it's already illegal in Georgia. You can't do it there. Fuck you.
But oh man,
Oh yeah, and Cannibalistic Wizard, I think you're probably thinking of Mr. Oh, too deep himself, Mr. Hands.
Mr. Who?
It's early days of the internet. What the fuck? Why did I watch this? Mr. Hands was someone who was engaging in bestiality, and
Oh,
he had his pretty much every organ punctured by an overexcited stallion.
wow.
Yep. So one of the things that you can hear is him at one point go, "Oh, too deep."
Wait, is that the guy who died?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. What the fuck?
Yeah.
How's wrong with you, cannibalistic wizard? Well, I guess it's in the name. Cannibalistic wizard. You would bring up some.
You would know about Mr. Hands, wouldn't you, Cannibalistic Wizard?
Yeah, dude. Come on, man. Come on, man. I got cancer and COVID. You go fight corn
There's
pop.
no need to get all wee-weed up. Yeah.
Ow. Nope.
There's just so much insanity going on. Like I said, it is a bit of a breath of fresh air that there's the Ketanji Brown Jackson will have to deal with sitting on the case where it is determined that you aren't allowed to have affirmative action hires.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I'm interested to see where that one goes.
And as we mentioned earlier, this is something that is only a thing because people keep on accepting jobs that they know are affirmative action hires. Because Ketanji Brown Jackson, there's no way that she didn't know she was an affirmative action hire. Because when Biden was talking about who he was going to hire, he didn't say that he was going to hire the best legal mind.
Oh shit! What was the newest one? Didn't they just? I think Kamala Harris posted a tweet about the new general who's going to be heading up the African forces, and it's this black guy, and it's like, dude, can you guys be any more fucking oblivious to what you're doing? Like, it's like, what the fuck's wrong? Are you purposely doing this? It's obscene. Yeah, I don't know.
It's something that I was saying before the show. If I was told that someone wanted to hire me because they needed a very large red bearded man, my response would be, why? Followed by, fuck you.
Well, hold on. That brings up a good point because then you gotta well, not ask, but add to your thought process bit of are these people doing it because they actually believe that they were chosen to do it? Are they
Oh, no.
thinking that they're doing it for an actual cause. I think AOC thinks like that, like she's actually doing something for the benefit of whatever she thinks. Or are they just really just, hey, I'm just filling this role, and I know it's ridiculous, but I'm just gonna do it because
I think what they do is they take the job because it's a job that they wanted. It's a job that they know that they aren't qualified for, but it's a job that they wanted. So if this is the way that they get it, this is the way that they get it.
just run
And
with it, huh?
they run with it. And I think this because when you look at affirmative action hires, they tend to also complain about having imposter syndrome a lot,
Yeah.
as well as advocating for more affirmative action hires. Because what they've done is they've realized that they aren't actually fit for the job that they're hired for. But rather than going and through the thought process of, if I'm not fit for this job, I should step down, they instead go for the thought process of, well, I feel like I'm not fit for this job because other people are absolutely fit for this job, and having to interact with people who are actually able to do what they were hired to do makes me feel bad because I'm not able to do what I was hired to do. So let's just get rid of the people that can do the job. And if we get rid of the people that can do the job, I won't have to feel bad because I won't be compared against the people who can do the job anymore. Because it'll just be a bunch of other people who are useless, and perhaps I'll be the most capable of the useless people.
Oh shit! Climbing to the top of the line, right?
Yeah, what they're doing is they've demanded that more rungs be put on the ladder lower than where they are and taken off of the ladder above them, because they can't climb any higher, but they want to feel accomplished. So if you're able to make it so that if you're able to dig a hole underneath the ladder and keep on adding more sections of ladder, well, they're able to say that they're at the top of a 70-foot ladder despite them never having left the fucking ground.
Jeez.
And you keep seeing this, or at least I keep seeing this. It's shit that happens again and again and again. And it pisses me off every time that I see it, because it seems so fucking naked and unashamed at the ridiculousness of it. That they're trying to make it so that they become the most accomplished, not by becoming the most accomplished, but by making sure everyone else is less accomplished than they are. It's the same reason why Mary Sue's always suck. Rather than actually making the character capable in and of themselves, they try to make it seem like the character's capable by making everyone around that character fucking retarded.
Well, it seems like an easier approach. So
Oh yeah, it's absolutely easy. Why make someone who's actually written as if they're capable in a fight and have to deal with a complex fight scene, when instead you can make the person who has been shown to be an absolute badass in a fight suddenly trip on his own shoes, snap his neck, and then this person comes in and just slaps the villain once, showing that, see, they're really the capable one. It's the same idea, just done in real life. And it's infinitely more damaging. Because rather than killing or assassinating a character, instead you're assassinating a field. When you get into math and then you demand that people that don't know math, just like you didn't know math, become mathematicians because they need to be represented just like you needed to be represented. And it shouldn't be a requirement for being a mathematician that you're actually good at math. And yes, I'm referencing the one mathematician that Scribe did a video on ages ago, that she married a mathematician who wrote all of the actual math for her PhD. She was given an amazing PhD advisor who's actually an insanely capable mathematician. But she did fuck all. The PhD advisor desperately wanted to get rid of her. The PhD advisor was also a woman. But the college prevented the PhD advisor from cutting this woman loose and saying, yeah, I'm no longer your advisor. Fuck you. You aren't doing a goddamn thing. You're never going to be a mathematician. No. The college decided, or the university decided, that this woman needed to be passed along. So the PhD advisor was forced to effectively do all the work that the husband wasn't doing in order to get this woman out of her hair. Now the woman has given up doing math, but still uses the fact that she has a math degree from the university as one of the feathers in her cap, despite time and again proving that she cannot do the simplest fucking math. This is the one that also published her PhD paper afterwards, and you can tell exactly what she wrote versus what her husband and the advisor wrote. Because the tone and tenor of most of the paper matches the tone and tenor of everything else that she writes, which is to say, barely literate. And then there's just sections of the paper where they're ridiculously well done, well thought out bits of math and well written, which, yeah, makes absolutely no fucking sense when you read the rest of it. Because the rest of it, like I said, barely literate. Does not understand the math. And yeah, that's effectively what they say, Assassin. That they feel like an imposter because they're surrounded by white people and Asian people. And not enough by people that look like them. Well, fuck you. You're a racist. I've never walked into a place of employment gone, there aren't really any giant Tolkien dwarfs floating around. I feel like an imposter. Or I've worked places where I'm one of the few white people, and I've never thought, wow, did I really qualify? No, because I knew my shit. I knew how to do the job. I did the job. I was good at the job. I never had to wonder, did I really belong? Was I really someone that earned my way in? Because I fucking did it. And I made it obvious that I fucking did it. And that's the thing that really pisses me off about the affirmative action shit. It cripples people. And it causes people... Yes, but dwarves don't float. They're too dense. Nice. It cripples people, and it pisses people off, because you end up with a couple different groups when it comes to affirmative action. And the way that I tend to express it is I use a race analogy, and race not as in the anthropological races, but race as in a foot race analogy. Because if you were in a race, Adam, and you were told that, well, the way that the race is going to work is that you aren't going to be told the time that your competitor took to finish the race, but you'll be told whether you're faster or slower than them. In order to reduce the pressure on you, you're also going to be running your races at different times on different days. So you won't be able to watch and see if you were running the same. Also, because your skin is a bit brown, so rather than you having to run the full 200 meters that your race is supposed to be, you're only going to have to run 100 meters. Oh, and also because your skin is a bit brown, they're going to shave a couple seconds off your time, and they're going to add a couple seconds to your opponent's time because he isn't a bit brown. So he's going to be running the full distance. He's going to be having time added to his time, and you're going to have time subtracted from yours, and you're going to be running half the distance. So those are the rules for the race. And like I said, you won't find out what his time was. You'll only know your time, and you'll only be told whether or not you won. So, instance 1, you win the race. Do you really feel like you won the race? I mean, you had time shaved off your end time, and you ran half the distance of your competitor. Do you feel like you earned winning the race?
I mean, Adam? I would think at a certain point, yeah. I mean,
what point would you feel like you earned winning the race with running half the distance and having time subtracted from your time to make it so that your time ended up being shorter?
Oh, well, I mean, not that aspect, but...
And also, you don't know how much time it took him to finish the race. So you really don't know whether or not you would have won had it been fair. You just know that you were told that you did win when it was obviously stacked in your favor. So you can't really feel like you won the race because, well, everything was stacked in your favor. So of course you should have won the race. So now you kind of feel like, well, would have I won the race if we were running the same distance? Or if I didn't have the time subtracted and he didn't have the time added? What? You start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't know whether you would have won the race otherwise. Then, not only do you have that shit going on, but now let's look at the opposite. You lose the race. You're running half the distance. You have time shaved off your time. He's running the full distance, and he has time added to his time, and you still lose. This probably makes you feel like you're goddamn just completely outclassed. It makes you feel worse because, again, you realize everything was rigged in your favor, but you still lost. That destroys a person's sense of self. Absolutely kills it. Because if they win, they don't get the sense of achievement of winning, but if they lose, it damns them for their loss. It isn't just that, well, they lost and it was fair, but the other person just outdid them. No, they lost when everything was rigged in their favor, when they should have been able to win. Even if they were half in a coma, they should have been able to win, but somehow you still managed to lose. That destroys a person. Now let's look at what the other guy gets. So rather than you having the time shaved off, and rather than you having the distance halved, you're now the other person. You know that you're running the full distance, and your opponent is running half the distance. You know that time is being shaved from theirs and time is being added to yours, and you aren't being told their time finish. You're just being told whether you win or lose. Let's look at the situation where you lose. Well, now you're able to go, well, yeah, of course I lost. I ran the full distance. He ran half the distance. I had time added to my time, and he had time subtracted from him. Fuck him. He didn't win. It was given to him. It was given to him, and it was stated that it was going to be given to him. So, of course, I lost because it was rigged against me. It pisses you off. It makes you hate the other person because they benefited where you were punished. That's one hell of a thing to do to society. Set people against each other that way. But now let's look at the other situation. You have everything set against you, and you win. Now suddenly you have absolutely no doubt that you won, because you won despite everything being set against you. Not only did you beat them, you fucking thrashed them.
Well, how would you know that you won?
They tell you whether you win. So if they tell you that you won the race, that you're running twice the distance, and time is being added onto you rather than time's being added onto you and subtracted for them, making it so that they should have every advantage in the book, and you're told that you win, fuck yeah, you thrashed them. You destroyed them. You are an absolute goddamn stud in that situation. Because not only did you win, but you won against everything being stacked against you. That, again, it's a hell of a thing to do to society. Now you have one group that when they win, they know that they won. When they lose, they're able to write off every loss. So they don't have to take that hit to their ego that, no, they lost because they just weren't good enough that time. No. Fuck that. They will never have to deal with that thought. Meanwhile, the other group, no matter if they win, they lose because they are never able to know that they actually won. And if they lose, oh, good God, they're worthless. And they know that they're worthless because they had everything rigged in their favor. That's what affirmative action does to people.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It is complete death of self-confidence in one group, and it is growth of self-confidence in the other. And it's not good for either group. It would be much better to have people run a fair race and have them win or lose on their own merit. Because if you win in that state, well, you won. You won because you did what was needed to do in order to win. That's a good feeling. If you lose, you aren't destroyed. You just need to work harder the next time. That's the way that you handle things in order to actually make people feel like they're worthy, in order to actually make people know that they've earned their place. They have to actually earn their place. And if you lose a fair competition, you've just lost a fair competition. You can always try again.
I agree, sir.
That's the reason why that idea just pisses me off so much. Because it's good for no one.
Not a lot of people, I think, are humble enough to accept that type of viewpoint. Or even in the least bit acknowledge that type of viewpoint. You know?
I think that's the biggest problem, that people don't acknowledge that that's what's going on. They don't recognize that that's what's going on. Because the moment that you recognize it, to my mind, it would be impossible to honestly support affirmative action. Once I realized that, it became impossible for me to go, no, this is right, this is good, because no, it destroys one group entirely, and it breeds contempt.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And like I said earlier, you know, it just goes into the how could you go into these institutions utilizing such practices and then sit there and say, yeah, I'm at the same level as this person. Are you sure? Because you may have
That's the thing.
had a bump in your score. It's not good.
They can never be sure.
No. Well, no.
They can never be sure, which is why you see the dropout rates that you do in colleges, which is why you see the constant string of, I feel like I'm an imposter. I feel like I don't belong. Well, yeah, of course you feel like you don't belong, because everything that would have let you know that you earned your place, that would have let you know that you belong, was stripped away from you before you even started. So you're going to always feel like an imposter, because there's no way for you to know that you earned your way. And unless you earned your way, you are an imposter.
My only issue with this is this has been going on for quite some time.
Decades.
So I have very little empathy for people who go around and, oh, I didn't know. You did know. Like the shit was out there. You just weren't paying attention. Like that's what was it. But other than that, yeah, no, that's the circumstances of the current situation. Yes, you could say.
Yeah, it's just infuriating, because it, like I said, it damages everyone involved, and it damages the society, and it damages the institutions. There is nothing that gets out on the other end smelling like roses.
Ooh.
It's one of the single most destructive things that we ever instituted.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some people out there that think they're doing a good job, you know, helping people out.
Yeah, there are absolutely people that are doing good jobs, and there are people that did and would have actually earned their way, but they don't know it. So they feel like they're imposters. It's harmed them. Then you have the other people that made it, and they will look at people that also earned their way, but because they don't know that that person earned their way, they kind of have to, at some level in their mind, assume that the other person didn't, which is damaging to both of them. And if you didn't earn your way because of, or if you didn't get in because of affirmative action, well, you now have every reason to dislike the group that did get in, or the person that did get in because of affirmative action, because they stole your position.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is damaging on every degree. And especially since it also damages the institutions. Institutions only have the names that they do because they produce what they produce. If you're a science university, or if you're a university that specializes in science, and you start pumping out people that don't actually understand science, your name's going to become mud. No one's going to hire people that graduate from your school because you've just destroyed your reputation. You are no longer the school that produces amazing scientists. You're the school that produces people that don't know what a fucking atom is. And yep, it incentivizes stagnation and traps you in poverty. It destroys the fields that are so diminished by this practice being used in them. It destroys the institutions that diminish themselves by using the practices because they don't have the ability to say that they produce fantastic people when they never actually do anything based on quality. If you aren't keeping track of the quality, you can't claim to have the quality. You've just fucked everything. You've burned the institution to the ground. You've destroyed a field. You've destroyed people's sense of self-worth. You've inspired ire between groups. It's one of the single most detestable things, like I said.
Yes, sir.
And we carried through this entire show fairly quickly talking about this and Thanksgiving and hospitality culture.
Oh, no.
I just realized we're 14 minutes away from the 30 mark.
30 mark?
Yeah, it's almost 30 past midnight.
Oh, shit. For real?
Yeah, almost half past.
Gonna have to contact Iron Maiden. Bam.
But yeah, before we go to parting words or anything like that, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about today? Now that I've had like 4 rants back to back to back without realizing.
No, honestly, like my mind is it's like half and half with because I had to restart Splatoon, so I've been playing that while I've been chatting with you. So I have half of my mind on that, and then the other half is on the foods from Thanksgiving, and I'm
hungry.
Yeah.
And God damn it, something that Maniac Man just said is damn near driving me into another rant again.
Oh no.
Because he just said, and the worst part is they don't even realize how racist it all sounds when you really think about it. And there's something that I saw, I want to say it was last week or the week before, that absolutely floored me. Did you hear that there were a bunch of minority creators on TikTok that were demanding that white creators on TikTok not create any content for an entire month?
What?
In order to give minority creators a chance to succeed. Minority creators on TikTok were demanding that white creators on TikTok not produce any content on TikTok, and really they expanded it out to any social media. They didn't want white creators creating content on social media for a month so that, in their words, minority creators could succeed. Which, again, this is something that they don't realize how fucking racist that sounds.
Can succeed at what?
In general.
What the fuck?
According to the people that came up with this idea, as long as white creators exist, minority creators cannot succeed. The only way for a minority creator to succeed, according to these people, not according to me, I fucking disavow and vehemently disagree with this idea, but according to these feckless cunts, the only way that a minority content creator could succeed is if there are no white content creators.
Oh my goodness.
They think
Hold
that
on,
minorities
hold on.
are
And I wouldn't be surprised if these same people would say that that is not a racist statement. Because that sounds pretty fucking racist.
Yeah, they were saying just that when a bunch of people pointed this out. There were white content creators that went, fuck you, this is really fucked up. And there were also a bunch of minority content creators that went, what the fuck are you saying? And the people that were in favor of this came out and started saying that, well, this is just supporting racism, that you're challenging this idea and you're saying that this is racist. No, this is anti-racist, you bigot. And they started calling the minority content creators that were speaking out against this idea as various forms of Sambo and the other racial epithets that they weren't using Sambo, they were using the incorrect one. Again, this is something that pisses me off. They called them Uncle Toms. Uncle Tom was the hero of Uncle Tom's Cabin. Sambo was the villain. Anytime that someone says that someone's an Uncle Tom, they should be calling them a Sambo, because Uncle Tom martyred himself. He was not the one to sell people out. He martyred himself to save people in Uncle Tom's Cabin. Sambo was the fuck that sold people out for his own.
I honestly, I don't think the people who are slinging these terms around actually know where these
they don't
words come from. So
they clearly don't.
It's one of those things where it's again, you're dealing with people who would sit there and be like, "Oh, you don't like this? Well, I guess you're a Nazi."
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you're dealing with.
Yep, that's exactly what we're dealing with. And they keep on doing this shit, and it pisses me off because, like I said, Uncle Tom was the hero. If you're going to reference something, get your fucking reference right. But they started calling them all sorts of racial epithets because they disagreed that minorities couldn't succeed unless white people are completely removed from a market, which, again, that is an insanely racist thing to think, because if you think that, legitimately, what you're saying is that white people are able to compete at such a high level that they can completely keep minorities out of the competition. Fuck you. That is fucked.
Yeah, fucked indeed, dude.
Yep. And it's the same idea behind the affirmative action. It's, well, of course they won't be able to compete on an equal playing field, so we have to put our thumb on the scale. It's the only way that these people will ever succeed. And this is why anytime that I am talking with someone in person and I say, well, affirmative action should be done away with, and someone said, this happens almost every time that I say this to someone, they'll end up saying, but if we get rid of affirmative action, then it'll be the same people getting hired every time. The most important question to ask once someone says that is, wait a second, who do you think would be the only people getting hired?
Well, I mean, certainly not the people who don't look like they fit in.
But the thing is that if they think that only a certain group would be hired, if we went purely by merit, they're saying that only one group is meritorious. They're saying that they are ridiculously racist without realizing that they're saying that they're ridiculously racist. So make sure when they say that, well, only one group or only a couple groups would be hired if we went to purely merit-based system, ask them, okay, what groups are you saying would be the only groups getting hired? Because you're saying that those are the only groups that have merit. And that's an uncomfortable question. If you're trying to say that you're an anti-racist and then you end up saying that only certain groups have merit.
But that's kind of like the definition of racism.
That is the definition of racism. Yeah, exactly. And it keeps on...
I'm not a racist, but, you know, I understand that there's these groups that do this and these guys can't. It's like, well,
yeah.
But I'm not racist.
And that's the thing that pisses me off, because it's always, well, I'm not a racist. Well, you just said that various racial groups are so inferior, they have no merit. If you're saying a group cannot be hired in a merit-based system, you're saying they have no merit. That is fucked. But now that's like the 5th rant that I've gone into tonight. And we're 4 minutes away from the half past.
Oh.
Do we want to go into parting words? Or do you have anything that you want to toss out and add into the conversation?
You know, perhaps it would have been better suited at an earlier time. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm feeling you on that. Thinking parting words sounds pretty good. Gonna, you know, find myself some potatoes myself, maybe mashed potatoes, I don't know. And you know, call it an evening. But yeah, no, yeah. I don't have anything to add, sir.
Fair enough. So, parting word?
Well, shit. It's a lot of fun hanging out on a Friday evening, sir. So I thank you for letting me hang out with you. But other than that, I will say, happy birthday, sweetheart, and I love y'all, and God bless.
And because it has been the kind of central point of this show, apparently, I'll once again read off Teddy Roosevelt's take on the hyphenated America, because it seems to be the proper closing out of this stream. What do you think, Adam?
I like it.
I stand for straight Americanism, unconditioned and unqualified, and I stand against every form of hyphenated Americanism. I do not speak of the hyphen when it is employed as a mere convenience, although personally I avoid its use even in such manner. I speak and condemn its use whenever it represents an effort to form political parties along racial lines or to bring pressure to bear on parties or politicians, not for American purposes, but in the interest of some group of voters of a certain national origin or of the country from which they or their fathers came. Americanism is not a matter of creed birthplace, or national descent, but of the soul and the spirit. If the American has the right stuff in him, I care not a snap of my fingers whether he is Jew or Gentile, Catholic or Protestant. I care not a snap of my fingers whether his ancestors came over in the Mayflower or whether he was born or his parents were born in Germany, Ireland, France, England, Scandinavia, Russia, or Italy, or any other country. All I ask of the immigrant is that he shall be physically and intellectually fit, of sound character, and eager in good faith to become an American citizen. If the immigrant is of the right kind, I am for him. And if the Native American is of the wrong kind, I am against him. Now, for our own citizens, we represent many different race strains. Our ancestors came from many different old world nationalities. It will spell ruin to this nation if these nationalities remain separated from one another instead of being assimilated into the new and larger American life. The children of the children and our children's children of all of us have to live here in this land together. Our children's children will intermarry one another. Your children's children, friends, and mine. Even if they wished, they could not remain citizens of foreign countries. The effort to keep our citizenship divided against itself by the use of the hyphen and along the lines of national origin is certain to breed a spirit of bitterness and prejudice and dislike between great bodies of our citizens. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Night, y'all.